Tom Ramsey has been an advocate for a balanced budget, for removing smut from local public schools. I don't think that's such a controversial thing, do you? Reducing crime, and by the way, keeping property tax low. Well, we've got another vote coming up here on the budget. And Lena Hidalgo not around to handle the vote. Apparently, we can't make quorum on this thing. So I reached out to Tom Ramsey to get I like to know what's going on. I don't trust ABC 13. I don't like the way the Houston Chronicle explains this thing. So we reached out to Harris County Commissioner Tom Ramsey to have him explain it to us himself in his own words. And he's here today. So thank you so much for your time today, Commissioner Ramsey. And for those that are confused about what's going on with the budget vote right now, I was hoping you could just break it down for us. What's going on and what do you intend to do about it?
Thank you, Kenny. Creating confusion is, I think, a lot behind what they do in the budget process. But here it is in a nutshell. A budget is proposed, a tax rate to support that budget is proposed, and then you vote on it. Well, last year, Commissioner Cagle and I were able to communicate our priorities. They did not take those priorities, and of course, we did not participate, and they had to adopt the no new revenue rate. This year is different because they could adopt the rate over the next 3 weeks. We did, in fact, this past Tuesday, adopt the rate with me in the room. The reason I was in the room this year and was not in the room last year is this year we have over $119 million committed to law enforcement that we did not have last year. So I will absolutely show up if you put my priorities on the agenda and address those. The fact that we saved $650 million last year, at least my 3 years on Commissioner's Court at this point, net is going to be over $300 million in terms of tax savings. So I continue to advocate for those things, but our top three problems in Harris County is crime, crime, and crime. And we took a big step Tuesday in addressing that problem by funding $119 million for law enforcement.
You know, Tom, I get that for some of your cohorts, for some of the people you work with, the most important thing to them is having their name on a plaque wherever there's some new infrastructure around Harris County. And I know for you, that's not quite as concerning. It's nice to have your name on a plaque on the side of a new bridge or, a tunnel going through Memorial Park or whatever it may be. But there are bigger problems here, and crime is out of control. I feel like it's not getting better. They say, well, when the economy picks up, crime's going to get better. Well, is the economy picking up? The stock market's not doing any better. The cost of living isn't doing it. Inflation just went back up. The cost of fuel just went back up. So that's what's happening on a national and state level. You and I both know what that does locally. When the economy suffers, crime suffers. And if we don't have enough funding for the Harris County Sheriff's Department, how are we going to curb crime in this community? And I think you just explained it pretty clearly, but do you feel like it's going to get better or worse?
I think that until we make a clear commitment to increasing the number of boots on the ground, you're not going to see a significant decrease in the crime. We are funding, as I said earlier, that is the sheriff's office, constable's office, DA's office, fire marshal's office. That's what I consider law enforcement. They've all received an increase in pay to allow them to attract and recruit and fill unfilled positions. We have hundreds of unfilled positions in law enforcement because we can't compete with the counties around us because we don't pay enough. Well, this budget will help address that problem. But the bigger picture in terms of what the judges are doing in releasing criminals on low bond, we've got to take care of that at the ballot box. We have got to eliminate the Democrat-elected judges at the ballot box.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw this today, but the city of San Francisco is now recruiting for law enforcement. They, like a lot of big cities around America, they're having a problem with finding people to work in law enforcement. So they're recruiting at universities in Southeast Texas, including TSU, Sam Houston over there in Huntsville, others, Prairie View, other places as well. I'm just curious, Tom, what do you think about that? I mean, even San Francisco is coming here to get cops and taking them away.
Well, we have extraordinarily great folks in our law enforcement. And when I've talked to our sheriff's deputies and our constable's deputies and HPD and the many law enforcement agencies, we've got incredible people here, but they are being recruited, and that's a fact. That's why this year I think let's stop the leakage in terms of people leaving. Let's pay them a better salary. Let's respect them more. And I've been an advocate that law enforcement is not the problem. People would say that. When we were doing public meetings on the budget, large numbers of people came to say, reduce law enforcement budgets and put more money in social programs. Listen, there's not enough money in Houston to fund all the social programs that people bring to our table. I don't consider that our job. Our job is for safe neighborhoods with law enforcement being number one. And until we make that our top priority, I don't think you're going to see a significant decrease in crime.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said about it. I don't feel like Rodney Ellis cares about this as much as you do, Tom. Hey, I'm curious, now that we're getting into city elections, a lot of people have been talking about District G race with Marion Ann Huffman and Busby, but of course the big one is the race between Whitmire and Sheila Jackson Lee, and I'm just curious if you have any thoughts about that.
Well, I mean, clearly, I do not think you can say Sheila Jackson Lee is going to be the great advocate for law enforcement. And when people people, when they get to that ballot box and whoever they vote for, it can't be Sheila Jackson Lee, that's for sure. But we got to see a commitment. It seems that Senator Whitmire has made a commitment to law enforcement. But I think Jack Christie's made that commitment to law enforcement. I think others have. So I think in the coming weeks, I think we who value law enforcement and consider crime the top problem in the city of Houston, listen to their words very carefully on what they're going to do or not do.
Yeah. You got attacked on an issue we've been talking about a lot this afternoon. As school choice is about to have another special session in Austin, Texas, a lot of people have been looking at what is fueling the school choice movement. And one of those things is books in public schools around the state of Texas. We've done a lot to remove some of these books from elementary school. They're books that probably maybe they belong in a college or a high school, but certainly not in an elementary school. One that often gets pointed out, a book called Gender Queer. It's a comic book where two lesbians teach the reader how to use a vibrator. And it's weird to talk about this even on a radio station where the audience is mostly adults, Tom. But you got attacked by the Houston Chronicle. You got attacked by ABC 13 just for criticizing this stuff. Even Hollywood today is accusing Texas of trying to ban books. You're one of the people that's been an advocate for getting this stuff out of elementary schools. Have people lost their damn minds? Like, how is this controversial?
It isn't. You talk to parents, you go talk to moms, you talk to dads. I've had moms and dads come to my office crying, explaining what books are currently available in libraries to children. Because when they take them there, you just can't turn your child loose in the library and say, go find you a good book. Because even if it says juvenile, it may end up being one of those books. So my simple common sense advocacy is to be sure that when you are looking at whatever books are there, they should be age appropriate. You should not have in a juvenile section for people in the first grade, kids in the first grade. You shouldn't have books in there that I wouldn't let my 20-year-old or 30-year-old or whatever children look at. So it is not about book banning. The words they bring to the table are just outright lies. That is a lie. It's not about book banning. It's about age appropriate. It's about common sense on how you take care of children.
Yeah, I mean, Tom, brother, from your mouth to God's ears, and I know everybody agrees with you that's listening right now, that is Tom Ramsey. Sadly, he is the only reasonable person right now in Harris County government, and we're grateful to have had his time today. Not for nothing here, folks, but people like Tom don't just get to remain in government. without a little bit of help. I know he's got a website. Tom Ramsey, Harris County Commissioner's Court, we're grateful for your time today, sir. Thank you so much.